we're going to go over our pattern pieces. We're going to start out with our skirt pieces and our waistband for our skirt, our bodice fronts, our bodice backs, our sleeves, our middle centerpiece, our skirt for our bodice, and the skirt for our skirt. We're going to take our front bodice main and lining and place them on top of our back main and lining and pin at the shoulder seams. We're going to now sew our shoulder seams. So now that our shoulder seams are sewn, we're going to open up our lining and our main pieces, and we're going to lay them right sides together on top of each other. And we're going to pin around our neck. Now we're going to sew our neck hole. Now that our neck hole is sewn, we're going to flip our bodice right side out. And then we're going to grab our sleeves. And we're going to find the middle of our sleeve and our seam, and we're going to pin along that, and then we're going to just slowly pin along the arm sky. And then we're going to do that for this other sleeve as well. And now we're going to sew our sleeves on. Now that our sleeves are sewn on, we're going to flip our bodice right sides together, and we are going to pin our side of our sleeve and down the side of our bodice on both sides. And now we're going to sew down our sides. Now that our sides are sewn down, we're going to put our bodice to the side. We're going to grab our center piece for our bodice, and we're going to flip it right sides together long ways. And we're going to pin down that side. And now we're going to sew our side seam. Now that's sewn, we're going to flip it right side out. I'm going to use a pipe and stick tool. You can use whatever method you prefer. Now that we have that flipped right side out, we're going to set it to the side. And we're going to grab our bodice again. And our bodice is going to be right side up. And we're going to take it and wrap it around the neck hole and down. And I'm going to pin it right where that triangle meets. Sorry, I'm just making sure my seam is on the inside. And pin where that triangle meets. And then loop it all the way up around the neck. And connect it with that pin. And now we're going to set our bodice aside, and we're going to grab our skirt pieces that go to our bodice, and we're going to place them right sides together. And we're going to pin down both short sides. And now we're going to sew down our sides. Now that our sides are sewn, we're going to gather the top. Now that we've gathered the top, we're going to grab our bodice and we're going to place it inside our skirt, right sides together. And I'm going to pin my side seams first. And I'm going to slowly make sure that I pin around my bodice and that I sandwich that center piece in between the skirt and the bodice. And now I'm going to sew my skirt on. So now that my skirt's sewn on, I'm going to fold up my bottom, wrong side together 1/2 inch, and I'm going to pin around. Now I'm going to hem my skirt. And now my bodice is done. I'm going to grab my main skirt pieces. And I'm going to place them right sides together and pin along the side seam. And now I'm going to sew down my side seam. So now that my side seam's sewn, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to grab my waistband piece. I'm going to fold it right sides together in half. And I'm going to pin along that short seam. And now I'm going to sew down the side. So now that the side's sewn, I'm going to fold it in half, wrong sides together. And I'm going to set that aside for a second, and I'm going to grab my main skirt pieces. And I am going to pin my waistband inside my skirt right sides together, lining my seam up with the back of my skirt. And then I'm just going to pin in halves and quarters. And now I'm going to sew my waistband on. So now that my waistband's on, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to grab my skirt pieces. I'm going to place them right sides together. And I'm going to pin along the sides. And now I'm going to sew down my sides. So now that my sides are sewn, I'm going to gather the straight edge. Now that my straight edge is gathered, I'm going to attach my skirt ruffle to my skirt. I'm going to line up my side seams with the side seam of my skirt, and I'm just going to pin in a circle. And now I'm going to sew my ruffle on. Now that my ruffle's sewn, I'm going to do the same thing with my ruffle skirt piece, and I'm going to fold it up wrong sides together, up 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to pin in a circle. And now I'm going to hem my skirt. And there you have it, the mermaid set.